You may have heard the name Laura Loomer. She's in a certain genre of characters in the Trump age, people who are essentially fringe bigots who then have been embraced by the president and the Republican Party and the conservative movement. Laura Loomer has said so many vile things that she is banned from Twitter. And I mean really, really vile, like Islam is a cancer, and this rant about how she refused to have an Islamic immigrant Uber driver, which also got her banned from Uber and Lyft. And then perhaps the most vile one of all, she cheered the death of 2,000 migrants who died crossing the Mediterranean, literally with the applause emoji, and called for 2,000 more. Now, if someone said something like that about Jewish people, you would properly call them a Nazi. Laura Loomer is now the Republican Party nominee for Florida's 21st congressional district, which includes Mar-a-Lago, and the president and his campaign have embraced her. Now, this is a safe Democratic seat, so there is no reason for them to expend any political capital supporting Loomer because she's not going to win. But that did not stop the president's daughter-in-law, Laura Trump, from campaigning for Loomer in person yesterday in Florida. For more on what this means about the current state of conservative politics, I'm joined now by NBC News reporter Brandy Zadrozny. Brandy, you have covered Ms. Loomer's various exploits. She is a quite infamous figure in the kind of fringe alt-right, right?
Yeah, she's famous in what was once my and my colleague Ben Collins' tiny little world of the worst, most extreme bigots in the internet. And so, and suddenly she's mainstream because 2020. But she was really made a name for herself being sort of a stunt person. So she was a bigot, she was extremist, she was a conspiracy theorist, but she worked for Rebel Media and InfoWars for a time and Project Veritas, sort of being a reporter. And then she just started doing these stunts. So she would just yell at reporters or during congressional hearings or at Shakespeare in the Park. And she was much to do on Twitter. And then Twitter banned her because she is obsessed with ISIS and anti-Muslim talking, and she can't stop herself. And so she said some terrible things for a long, long time, like you just said. Twitter finally banned her, and she's used that ban as a kind of badge of pride, and that is how we are where we are today.
You know, there's a certain kind of a person, right-wing troll, who talks about virtue signaling and accuses liberals of virtue signaling. And there's a kind of inverse thing on the right, which is like vice signaling, that you show everyone that you're terrible and that you perform that terribleness, and that has its own kind of cachet that then gets its own kind of negative attention, we say when we're talking about children.
Yeah, I mean, it really is a badge of honor. She has it in her campaign emails. I'm the most banned person in history. That's not great. That's not conservative. These ideas aren't just mainstream Republican. Most people believe in freedom of religion. They don't believe, like Laura Loomer has said, that all Muslims are savages, that all Muslim people should be kicked out of the country, that immigrants should be killed as they seek refuge on some other shore. But she doesn't say that part out loud. She says that part on Twitter, and she says that part in her social media posts. But then, you know, she can just use that, I am a censored Republican, I am a censored conservative, and right. That really does resonate.
I mean, this is someone who, it's not just Trump, right? But you've got Matt Gaetz, I think, has endorsed her, and I think Paul Gosar, if I'm not mistaken, is another Republican. But the Trump campaign, I mean, talk to what message does this send? I mean, this is not a competitive race. There's no, you know, they have a limited amount of time and effort they could use to sort of husband their political capital. To send the president's family member down there personally to campaign with her is to say, yes, we are with you. Woman who says it's good that migrants died. I hope 2,000 more migrants died, and Islam is a cancer.
I mean, it's a signal, right? It's not there's no chance of winning this race, probably. But it seems like it's a signal, just like the same signal that the president has sent to Marjorie Taylor Greene, the Republican out of Georgia that's probably going to be in Congress, who believes in QAnon and has spouted conspiracies from 9/11 to mass shootings. So, and he came out and endorsed her and said, great, way to go. So that's one example. The same thing with Kyle Rittenhouse, the 17-year-old accused of shooting two people and killing them at a protest this month. Again, he's not condemning them. The message that it sends is not only will the Donald Trump and his followers not condemn the worst, most violent, basest ideas, but you'll be rewarded for showing that you believe in this and for a willingness to espouse these crazy, dangerous, just terrible ideas.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy to me that we had there's like a whole news cycle about, what is Joe Biden going to say about people, breaking into a store or burning down a business. He has to condemn them, and he went to Kenosha and he said, I want to be unequivocal about this, like this. On the tail end of that, the Trump campaign sends a Trump family member to go campaign with a person who says Islam is a cancer, Islam should be banished from public life, and it's good when migrants die. Like that's the way that we ended this news cycle about will Joe Biden condemn the rioting. Brandy Zadrozny, who has done incredible work on this along with Ben Collins for us. Thank you so much for coming on tonight.
Thanks.